Ole Miss got eliminated from the Sweet 16, but they didn't get eliminated as a program. As long as Chris Beard's going to be around, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. Let's bring in Tim Thomas and find out a little bit postseason what we think about all of this. This is the Locked On Ole Miss podcast.
You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, I'm Steven Willis from the Locked On Ole Miss podcast, and we are the most watched Ole Miss podcast out there, so thank you for tuning in. We're about a little bit over a week away from my surgery, and just so you know, down in the description, you can join the subtext. And what the subtext is, we're doing that in lieu of a GoFundMe, kind of. For over the next month, we're doing that, some extra money going in. If you want to contribute a $5 payment to that, join the subtext. The link is down in the description. And also watch all the videos that go up on this channel while I'm out, and as well as subscribing and commenting and all of that stuff on audio. We'd appreciate it very much. It's just a way that we can keep the revenue up pretty high, and that I can come back whenever I come back in mid-May or June, and everything will be good to go. So please, I ask you to do that for me as well as we get ready for that. My big coming back will be, I'm planning on going to SEC Media Days in July. So that'll be the big unveiling, and everything's back 100%, and we are full go ready for football season. All right, so let's bring in Tim Thomas to talk about this season, this game, everything. Ole Miss got bounced in the Sweet 16, but I tell you what, this wasn't a situation like the 2001 team to where Arizona kind of handled them in the final, in the Sweet 16. I told people going into the game that Ole Miss should probably expect to win this game. They're good enough to do it. They're on that level, and Ole Miss absolutely performed. It took Michigan State making every single contested shot for the last 4 minutes to win that game.
Yeah, it was kind of disheartening. You know, Beard's goal was a Final Four, and that's what he had convinced those guys. If you saw the locker room after the game, one of them said, we're warriors, man. Of course, Morrell played hurt, and it'd been nice to have Morrell full 100%. It'd been nice to have Brown Jones there for a few minutes, and we still did some great things. But it was cool to see Izzo. Y'all may have already seen this. He's been doing this 25 years in a row, coming to the national tournament, the NCAA tournament, that we were the most toughest physical defensive team that he'd played in several years. That's saying a whole lot, considering some of the games last year and then early this year, some of the games, they've come a long way, and definitely a team to be proud of, Beard and the guys, that they mostly 7 guys playing, sometime 8, but I was really proud of them and what they did this year.
Yeah, and honestly, if people are looking for a reason why Ole Miss got bounced in that game, it wasn't because of officiating or coaching or any of that stuff. I think when Sean Padula got his second foul, that allowed Michigan State to cut the lead down from 10 points down to 2 or whatever it was at halftime. And at that point, you were in a dogfight.
Yeah, Padula, he was the kingpin. He ended up being the captain. We didn't know who was going to be there for a while, but as you mentioned, Dre Davis, he was also in foul trouble, so he was key too. And then there was a foul differential. There was a free throw differential. Beard alluded to it. He didn't go too deep into it, but they shot 22 free throws. We shot 10. So there is a little bias there. Beard,
I don't think that's bias, other than the fact that Michigan State just started driving and drawing that contact, and Ole Miss was settling for jump shots a lot of the times.
Yeah, they went downhill. The Richardson kid, him and the other guy, they went downhill, and for what reason, I don't know why we didn't get in front of them. Like normally, our defensive skills were good there along the baseline, but we kind of let them go, and they made the shot. And also, a lot of times we fouled them, or we were afraid to foul because we were foul trouble. But it kind of went as it is. But we were ahead there like 9 or 10, and then all of a sudden it was close. And it is what it is. Our guys played their heart out. They gave everything, like they said in the locker room. Several of them were crying. Padula was crying. All of them, Dia, I was glad to see at the end of his talk that he indicated that he was coming back. So, a lot of things could come between now and then, and he may go see how the combine goes at NBA, see how that goes. But he loved Beard, and they have a good relationship, and he acted like he was coming back. So we do need him. You got I assume John Bowles coming back. I don't know if Beard. That's something they got to figure out. If he's a fit for next year. But Flafke, I assume, is coming back. Doubtful that Cowherd's coming back. He's been there like 3 years and really hasn't been anything much but a practice player.
Oh, and did you see that our old friend Malik Ewan from Florida State also entered the portal again?
Oh, did he again? Okay, wow, yeah, that I don't think he'll touch him. Who knows? You never know what might do. We got a couple freshmen, new guys, commits coming in. The Al Pinkins' son, Patton Pinkins, he's 6'5" guard, and the Tyler Jordan, he's a 6'9" guy. But they're freshmen. As you see, Beard's going for 2 freshmen. He's got a few coming back, and everything else is probably around 10 portal guys.
Yeah, and Eduardo Klafke, this is a guy that played a bunch despite not giving the team anything offensively. That shows how much of a defender he is. He has the height. He has everything. He is somebody that if his offensive game can just be an 8-point-a-night scorer, if he can just get you 8 a night, if you can get to that point next year, he will be a plus player on this roster for Ole Miss moving forward.
Yeah, I like to watch him play. He's really big on defense and rebounding, and he kind of brings a jolt. He kind of vitalizes the team when he comes in. He gets them a little fired up, gets some adrenaline flowing a little bit. He's really good with that. I think next year is a big turning point. He shot a few early in the year and made them and all, and somewhere along the line he lost his confidence and he just didn't feel good about shooting. I think he hit one, maybe an SEC tournament, but Beard was fine with him getting it to the people that can shoot it. Because we had 2 or 3 guys that could really light it up. So he done his job. And as I said about Bowl, I'm not sure if he's in the picture or not. He's got all kind of potential, big guy. But we'll see if Beard has him in his picture for next year.
All right, when we come back, we'll continue to talk to Tim about next season and this Ole Miss team. We obviously just started that conversation a little bit, but we'll continue to talk about that as well. But first, I do want to let you know about, life moves fast, especially when you have a family. One day you're watching your kids take their first steps, and before you know it, they're off to college. That is why securing their future is so important. Fabric by Gerber Life makes it simple to get term life insurance that fits your family's needs. With Fabric, you can hear and apply for term life insurance right online, right from your couch. You could be covered in under 10 minutes, and in many cases, no health exam is required. You can get $1 million in coverage for less than $1 a day. So protecting your loved ones does not have to break the bank. Fabric also offers other digital free wills and access to investment accounts to help you plan for your children's future. Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help protect their families. Apply today in just minutes to meetfabric.com/lockedoncollege. That's meetfabric.com/lockedoncollege. Policies are issued by Western Southern Life Assurance Company, not available in certain states, and prices are subject to underwriting and health questions. And baseball season is in full swing, and there's no better way to get in on the action than with Prize Picks, the daily fantasy sports place of choice. With Prize Picks, you pick more or less on at least 2 player projections, and if you're right, you can win up to 1,000 times your cash. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs, Prize Picks keeps every game exciting. This week, I'm picking Aaron Judge for more than 1 home run and Shohei Ohtani and more than 1 stolen base. Really is simply that easy. Setting up a lineup takes less than 60 seconds. And when you win, your payout is quick, safe, and secure. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONCollege, all one word, to get $50 instantly after you play that first $5 lineups. That's 50 free bucks. That's code LOCKEDONCollege for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. All right, let's go back to Tim. Tim, we are moving on to next season, and you mentioned the transfer portal is going to be a big part of that. And we're not going to talk necessarily about all the rumors that are out there until the next segment. but just know that there's probably 8 or so people that have to be pulled out of the transfer portal, because you mentioned John Bull and Eduardo Klasky coming back, and then Ole Miss signed Tyus Jordan and Patton Pinkins. So that's 4 recruitable freshmen. So that means there's, let's see, 9 other spots that are available to be filled. If Dia comes back, that number becomes 8. So when you look at where Ole Miss is, they're sitting pretty right now, because Patton Pinkins and Tyus Jordan, they're both pretty good players. And if John Bull and Klafke takes a step, it could be absolutely contagious. And then it becomes the transfer portal, because I think the ideal thing for Chris Beard is guards that are 6'3" and taller and centers that are 6'10" or 6'9". I think that is the range. 6'3" to 6'10", that's where he wants every person on the floor to be.
Yeah, he wants that length, kind of like Auburn. You mentioned he's kind of same roster feel that like Auburn does. The tall guys, the length, and really play the defense and tip balls and tip passes and rebound and so forth. But this portal thing he mentions, it's kind of like speed dating. All these new guys he's got to try to put in. But just be honest, we need Malik Dia back. We need him back. I mean, that's all I can say. I said this about him, this, that, and the other, that sometimes he was off and wasn't concentrated. He wasn't laser focused, but I believe he'll be back. I think we need to pay him what he needs to get by these days. But we need him back. But all the other guys, like you said, I think Flafke will fit in. Hopefully Bowl, if he decides to stay. And those 2 new guys, I watched them on video and watched the films, but it's hard to know what the freshmen do these days. Some of them do really good, like Cooper Flagg, but most of the other ones don't do as well. But we got a good nucleus there. We got a couple coming back, and if we get Dia coming back, and we mentioned Pop Isgus, we'll talk about him more. But I feel like he's coming, and I watched his highlights last night. He's really, really good. Reminds me a lot of Murray and also Padula. He can do a lot of things that both those guys can do.
Yeah, with a couple extra inches over them. He's a little bit longer, a little bit taller player. And I think whatever your point is about Malik Dia, I think it's important for Chris Beard to find that kind of bulldog, that bulldog 4 or that bulldog 5 that you can just put down there. He's going to fight. He's going to get rebounds. He's going to do all the dirty work. I think if you have that, then all of a sudden Malik Dia can be Malik Dia.
Yeah, our kryptonite last season was rebounding. We struggled, even though against Michigan State we actually won the rebounding value. How could that happen? That's why Beard was looking at it. He said, okay, rebound, we out rebounding, turnovers, we did good. And so the only thing he could come up with was the differential of the free throws. And there was a significant difference, but it was caused by us, most of it. I think the referees, like you said, I think they were pretty steady. Was there a little Izzoism possibility? Is there always, those type coaches that's been there all them years? I didn't want to hear him yelling at them, but Beard on his way up that track too. He's coming. We have proof of concept, man. This past year, you looked at the teams out there. We were around 7th, 8th, and 7th, 8th in the SEC. We never could break that top 4 or 5, but we came close a couple of times, and no one gave us any respect. We've talked about that all year. No one gave us respect. But when you get out of the SEC, we done really well against teams that wasn't used to this no middle defense, wasn't used to this defense, as Izzo called it, the most toughest he had seen in years. I mean, that's big for Izzo to say that type. I know him and Beard are friends, and they're similar defensive concepts. But Beard's a real deal. We got to keep him. I feel sure we got him. He is an elite coach. He has a great coaching staff, and we just got to have confidence that he'll do well, because he's all over this portal. They're going to have to do it a little quicker this year. I think instead of 45 days, they got 30 days. So this speed dating will be sped up, a lot of Zoom calls. But I know they already got people coming. I know Pop Isaac's been in, that Carter Welling has been in town. I heard Corey Chess was coming in on Tuesday. So he's getting these guys in quickly. The ones that's interested, if you really to be addicted, he said you got to be addicted to basketball. Faith is important, family, academics. But after that, baby, you better be all basketball. You're addicted to it. And he said that in a good way. You got to love it. And these guys last year did. You saw them in the locker room. Padula is crying, and Dia is crying, and Morrell and all those guys, they're all upset about this team. because they've been working since summer, getting up really early. John Riley, the strength and conditioning guy, been out there whipping the towel, getting them worked up. And this team, I think they maybe needs to get in shape a little bit better. He didn't play long, and he would kind of fade. So I think that'll be something they'll work with him. That's just my opinion. He needs to be in better condition. But overall, very proud of this thing. We done well. We made it to Sweet 16. My opinion, we had it in our grasp. We just couldn't nail it down. But next year, looking for bigger and better things. We've raised the expectations of Ole Miss basketball.
Yeah, and when we come back, we are going to talk about next year specifically, and we're going to talk transfer portal a little bit more in depth. So stick around for that. But first, I do want to let you know, daylight savings time snuck up on us again. And if you're feeling that lost hour of sleep, 5 Hour Energy has your back. The extra sunshine means more time for fun, but sometimes you need a little boost to power through. Whether you're staying up late watching the NCAA tournament, squeezing around to golf after work, or just trying to keep up with your busy day, 5 Hour Energy gives you that quick, refreshing pick-me-up whenever you need it. With longer days, I love getting outside for a walk, and my morning walk videos are a huge hit. But how do I keep my energy up for that as well? Well, it's simple. Tropical Burst is my go-to flavor for a quick boost. Head to 5hourenergy.com to find over 15 flavors to choose from, including watermelon, blue raspberry, or peach mango. You can even build your own 12 or 24 pack delivered right to your door. But if you need one now, grab a 5 Hour Energy shot at your local grocery or convenience store. They are everywhere. So stock up and stay energized. The transfer portal is in full swing, Tim, and you mentioned Pop Isaacs before, and I think that the roster construction and the way they're trying to put it together, Chris Beard is really leaning towards that 6'3" to 6'10" thing, to where the guards, Ole Miss would get size speed ratioed from time to time this season, and you'd see Juju Murray at 5'10" or 5'11" on a 6'9" center, and it was obviously a mismatch. Ole Miss has to get a little bit longer. I think Pop Isaacs, we saw Walker Jones with a cryptic Grove Collective tweet, just a check mark like something's been signed. Nothing has been announced, but everybody is going off of that. I think Pop Isaacs would be a good start if he's healthy.
Yeah, I know he had a little injury, hip injury or something, but like you said, I know they'll check him out and see if he's healthy, fine to come play. That may be what they're doing now. Maybe one we kind of wait a little bit. But I like you, I saw the check mark, and I saw where Tifton, he went ahead and crystal balled him. And we got several guys. You mentioned several of them on your show this week, and by the time it shows, maybe a few more already popped in, popped out. We'll see. But he's looking for guys that, like I said, that really love the game and want to be part of his program. Just a normal, everyday person is not going to be on this team. Badula, he was top notch. He was hard nosed, and Devin Barnes. They all just kind of took a step back. Morrell mentioned it that he'd already led the league or got close to the league in scoring. He was wanting to win. He was wanting to go to the Final Four. He looking for guys like that. He's been successful in the past, and those assistants he got are great recruiters. So I feel good. He's going to get a good stout team. But you're right. They're going to have to get some big guys inside. The Corey's Chest, the big old guy. There's several guys they looking. The Nick Pringle from South Carolina, he's a big guy inside. So they get some bigger, better guys inside that can rebound and put the ball in the hole in the paint that we didn't have as much this year.
Yeah, the Nick Pringle thing has my attention, because he had a pretty good game against Ole Miss in South Carolina, and South Carolina almost beat Ole Miss in Columbia. Pringle was kind of a catalyst of what was going on there. It would be interesting to see if he was the Michael Brown-Jones next to a Malik Dia. That would be a pretty formidable front court as far as rebounding, power, all of that stuff.
Yeah, he's a good player, and just be straight. He's looking for guards. He wants the Morels, the Badulas, the Murrays, Dre Davises, and the Barnes. He's needs those sizes. That's what he's looking for. About 6 of them. That's why he's got so many just got a few names. I don't know how that'll go. Jonathan Powell from West Virginia guard, Antonio Cho from Garden City Community College, Marion Dickerson from Robert Morris, and that I think you mentioned the kid from Troy. But he's also looks the Jakari White from North Dakota State.
Yeah.
So he's looking for like maybe 5 or 6 of those guys, 6'3", 6'6", like the Dre Davis style. He would love to have several of those guys. I know he was your guy this year, and he's really good. He was a great player. I wish he hadn't been in foul trouble. We'd have really needed him in that last game. But that's the kind of guys he's looking for. He's looking for dogs or people that really are addicted to this game and really want to go like Beard. Beard thinks about this game probably 24/7. I don't know. But he definitely loves the game of basketball, and he does a great job. I think he's talking about he won a Coach of the Year award.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Phelan? How you say his name?
I think it's Phelan, Coach of the Year. Yeah.
So there's people out there that realize what a good job he did with the amount of talent that we had.
Yeah, and also Dre Davis's brother, Trey Davis, is in the portal out of Notre Dame, and obviously people are going to be looking at that. He's a 6'9" guy. Dre Davis might have been 6'7", 6'8". He's a true 6'9". So it would be interesting to see what happened there. But you're looking at big guys and roster construction and what's going on. You mentioned that they were potentially looking like upwards towards 5 guards. That means 3 front court players coming as well.
Yeah, and you saw during the tournament who were the guys that led the teams. The guards, man. It's the guard team, point guards, Walter Clayton. After I saw him play, I was thinking maybe he's a player of the year. You got Broom out there and Flag, and it probably going to get down to Florida wins it all. That's who I had picked earlier. I don't know. Auburn, if Auburn wins it, probably Broom. If Duke wins it, probably Flag win the player of the year, the Naismith Award. So it's hard to see, but hard to know exactly how it's going to go. But Clayton, he impressed me in that last game they played. They're kind of just playing with fire the last couple of games. And so the Final Four is going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. And I don't know, Houston, we beat them in a preseason game. That's they're more of a team. They don't have a certain player that's really out there, like a Flag or a Broom or a Clayton. So they play more as a team. So right now, even though I had Florida picked, Houston's look really good to me right now.
Yeah, Houston on that Duke offense, I think there's a chance Houston wins that game.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I know him and Beard, Sampson Beard has a real good relationship. They play each other every year in these preseason games, and they have they're really big on defense. That's what they look for. And that's what's going to win these games: the defense, the rebounding, and the point guard. Who comes through the point guard, who can guide their team to this final game. This is going to be a doozy. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and you talk about Florida, Walter Clayton. You can play an absolutely perfect game for 35 minutes, but if you let up for 5 minutes, Florida will beat you, and that's happened to UConn. That's happened multiple times in this tournament. When Walter Clayton gets going, you do a fine job. You think you're doing great, and then all of a sudden you look up, you're down by 10 points.
Yeah, Florida seems like they have the best roster. They have a lot of. They have 10, 12 guys they put in and out. And Auburn's really good. You can't count them out. Duke, they play with several freshmen. Not many teams are playing with freshmen like they are. They got several. Flag is really good. The other kid, I hate to try to say his last name.
Yeah, I know
he's really good.
He's actually my favorite.
Okay, what's his name? To say his last name for me.
I can't say that last name.
Knipple, something like that.
Yeah, something like Canoopel, something like But yeah, he's just solid on the outside. He's the typical Duke-looking player. I mean, if you look in the vein of Christian Laettner and everybody else that's come through there in the last 30 years, he is that typical Duke-looking player, even more so than Cooper Flag.
Yeah, and they got a point guard that's really good. And Florida's got a point guard, and Auburn has several of them. The Pettiford, the guard, the freshman, he's really good. And I don't know the Houston. I just watched the game, didn't see who their point guard was, but they don't really have the star player like we talked about. They just play so well together. So I could see them winning, but it's going to be something else. I'm looking forward to it.
The game is in the Alamo Dome. And anytime they play games in stadiums like this, outside shooting can always become a thing that suffers. So teams that rebound, teams that play defense, teams that have a big man has a chance in these Final Four type settings to really step apart. That's the reason I'm kind of leaning Auburn and Houston as the two teams in the finals.
I don't know. It's tough to pick. I'm not a bet man. I'm glad I'm not. But maybe talk about just a second. Gary Parrish, he does a show in Memphis. You may know of him, a sports show. I think he graduated from Memphis, but his wife graduated from Ole Miss. He said he had a son graduate from Ole Miss, and he spoke so highly of Beard during the CBS shows at the end of the day, the post game shows, and he just spoke so highly of Beard. In 2 years, how far he's come. This team has come, and he was kind of Ole Miss homer during this because of his wife, and so he kind of stayed with us and picked Ole Miss while everybody else, including your boy Tim Doyle, they were all picking everybody else. They were 0 for every time they would pick the UNC game and they picked the Iowa State game. They were always 0 for 6, or they had 2 different shows. No one picked Ole Miss except him. He was really high on Ole Miss, and he spoke highly about the 2-year reign of Beard and how things were going in Oxford, the fan support, the place is selling out. It's hard to get a ticket. And it was good to hear him speaking well of Ole Miss, because most of the other ones, they were going for Michigan State and Iowa State or UNC just to get on the blue blood highway. But I was glad to hear him speak well of Ole Miss.
Thanks again for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Tim Thomas, former Ole Miss basketball player and a legend in my own heart. Tim, thank you so much for joining us this week, and we will talk to you probably sometime this summer or a little bit after, getting ready for next basketball season.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to say may God bless you during this surgery, and I'll be praying for you. I know others out there will be praying for you, and the Lord has us under control, and we'll be praying for you, and God bless, and hotty toddy.
Thank you very much, Tim, and we'll talk to you in a couple of months, buddy.
Okay, thank you. See you.